and he died in Lower Norfair, and the other runner had been behind him, but then became ahead, and Azulino was able to catch back up over the course of the run.
Hey, this just goes to show you, you know, sometimes a lot of people will skip saves because they want to save time, but in many instances, it can actually be the difference between winning and losing, so good for him.
All right, looks like we have a little bit of an unsync here, but both runners have started going through Ceres Station.
Yeah, hopefully we'll get it synced up here shortly.
Now, even though KPDR is a safer route, death is still definitely possible. This is an any % speed run, so maybe Azulino's precautions of taking that safety save in Lower Norfair may come back to help him again.
Yeah, that's true. A lot of discussion has been made throughout the tournament about the difference between old route and new route in terms of, you know, risk and reward and all that. But regardless, even old route is still dangerous in many places, and it's Super Metroid. I mean, I think everybody who's played this game knows that it's not uncommon to die in very strange ways. So hopefully both runners will finish, and we'll have a nice competitive match here.
All right. So it looks like the next thing that's going to matter, we're going to see our Ceres station times. This will give us a better idea of how close the runners actually are. So Ivan's out with a 45.89.
Yeah, really nice time. Anything in the upper 45s, 46s, and 47s, because 47s are very, very rare, but anything in the high 45s and, you know, 46s is like a really, really nice time. So,
and it looks like a 45.17 from Azulino. Still very good, Ceres.
Oh, for sure, yeah. Honestly, I think that part of the run is kind of tricky. Like, some people are really good at it, but like trying to understand how all the different steam patterns work, there's just so many different situations that can happen. So pretty much anytime you get any kind of 45, I'm usually happy with that myself.
All right, so now we're going to be heading down to get the morph ball. First thing I'm interested to see, are we going to see the runners using Moonfall?
I don't think we'll see Ivan do it. We'll see. What were you going to say? You imagine what?
I was going to say, I imagine that we would see it, but it doesn't look like Ivan's doing it, at least not in Parlor.
Oh, he is? Okay. I'm actually a bit surprised by that. I haven't been watching too closely, but Ivan, you know, he's one of the most legendary runners we have in the community, but he has not been, you know, super duper active on Super Metroid up until recently with the tournament. So I was not sure if he had, you know, been playing a good bit since the Moonfall tech came out. But it looks like both runners are using it, so good for them.
Yeah, both runners getting tripped up a little bit with their movement in Parlor, but getting a clean Moonfall in the climb.
Given that Ivan is an old school runner, I would assume that when he gets to the climb, he'll use the traditional kind of old school wall jumping method. A lot of players that have started to run recently have adopted the ledge grab climb, but I'm pretty sure we're going to see Ivan do a really nice, tight wall jump here.
Yeah, most of my experience with Super Metroid, any % speedrunning, was on not necessarily old route, but more like the more well-known runners who already have their habits kind of set in. So the first time I saw the ledge grab climb was actually fairly recently. I believe it might have even been the last race that I watched.
Yeah, there have been many players that have used it, but the player who has sort of popularized it is Behemoth, you know, one of the best players in the world. And I think when he started doing it, a lot of newer players saw it and, you know, tested it out and decided that they liked it, you know, better. Either way is fine. They're both excellent methods. It just kind of comes down to what you prefer. But here we're seeing Ivan have a really, really crisp climb. So that was very upper tier right there.
Yeah, Behemoth is a good friend of mine. He's actually the person who got me back into speedrunning Metroid 2 recently.
Oh, cool. Yeah. Well, he's popularized quite a few things in the game. All right, so Ivan's going to come up here on the bombs. Even with Moonfall on, this is a really nice time. A 4:46 is a really nice time. That would probably be, you know, roughly a 4:50 even without Moonfall, or maybe a 4:49. So that's an excellent time. And maybe he's like a about 30 seconds ahead right now, maybe.
Uh-oh, Azulino getting caught up a little bit in his movement again, coming up parlor. And he is bonking. He downed some health off of the scree particle, so that's going to be... Oh, okay, so he's just going to farm before the fight, because that can definitely affect how Bomb Torizo goes.
Yeah. Also, forgive me, I'm a little bit off on my prediction because I just remembered that the two screens are not identical in terms of time. So he's, even on his, just what you're seeing on the screen, it's about, 12 seconds roughly behind what Ivan's doing. So we'll have to account for that as we make predictions throughout.
Yeah, a good thing to check is just, like, if we need to kind of reset ourselves in our mind, is just to check their time going into a specific door.
Yeah. A good method for that coming up will be looking at the elevator time. That's always a good indication. People typically have an idea in mind about what they want to be at the elevator, but as we always point out, Ivan here, you can tell in advance he's going to be running old route, running straight through those pirates. Old route does not really rely on health as much as new route does in the early portion of the run. So he'll just tank the hits, run right down, and unless a catastrophe happens, he should be perfectly fine on health from here all the way to the next E-tank that he'll pick up, which will be at high jump boots after Kraid.
Yeah, I have to imagine that in the situation of something like a race tournament, a lot more people will be going old route even than might necessarily they use in their PBs, just because it's so, like, new route can be so risky sometimes.
Yeah, I agree. There are a few people in the tournament who are, really skilled at both and will run either one depending on who they're racing. For example, I know Sloters and Gallimaz have both run both routes, I believe, in the tournament. Definitely Sloters. But generally speaking, when you start getting into the single elimination portion of the bracket, which is where we are, and especially if you make it to the second round, so many of the people, not everybody, but so many are going to be running new route. And, if they are able to complete their run, are going to at least have a bit of an advantage over the old route in terms of, time on routing. So I think the further in the tournament you go, the harder it is to run old route competitively. But we do have some extremely elite players that run it, so it wouldn't surprise me to see them do well.
Such as Ivan.
Yeah, Ivan's got one of the best old route times ever. So, and plus, runners like Ivan, I've actually heard him talk on his stream about how he has no interest in learning new route, so he's already so gifted and skilled at old route, and, all he really needs to do is just de-rust a little bit and he can run a really nice time.
Yeah, and it's understandable. Like, I can say from experience with running other games, and even this game, that it's sometimes very hard to change such heavy muscle memory, especially in some of the same rooms when you're completely changing your route like that.
Oh, for sure, I agree. Yeah, new route and old route are vastly different in this game, so it's not something people are going to be able to just randomly do. You would have to do a lot of practice at both to try to get decent at either one.
Yeah, especially if the way that you say that makes it kind of sound like he hasn't been playing as much recently, so trying to learn new route right before a big tournament like this seems like it'd be a bit of a risky move.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, and regardless of the routing, because everybody in the community knows the difference between old route and new route in terms of, the time potential. So regardless of the PB time, I mean, I think everybody understands that players like Ivan, Z, Music Jack, some of these guys run the old route, Sephi, these are really elite players that play exceptionally well. And if they wanted to learn new route, they certainly could, but it's definitely understandable why bring it in only for a few weeks for a tournament.
Bit of an aside. Is Sephi also known as Antimony?
Yes, that's correct.
Okay, I've heard a lot of people reference him as that, but I've only known him by the latter name, so I was totally unsure. He's another friend. I've been around in the 2D Metroid community for quite some time, just not very active for the past few years.
So Ivan's setting up here for the Kraid quick kill with the 2-missile method. Excellent. And he'll hope for at least a few missile drops here, maybe a couple supers. The missiles are in some ways are a little more important, just because on the way out, mini Kraid should drop 4 supers. So a lot of times players like to get a few more regular missiles. You know, in other words, he's going to fire a super here in mini Kraid, but he's already got an extra one. So he would have probably preferred to have maybe 1 extra missile drop instead of an extra super. But it's all good. His ammo is perfectly fine. He'll missile these 3 pirates. And here we have Azulino setting up for his quick kill. And using the charge method, and perfect. Nice job. Okay, Lynn.
Getting their
Yeah. Do you want to answer the question by Lynn the Cat, Kenta, or you want me to cover it? He asked, is the various suit required?
You can cover that.
Okay, so I'll keep it simple, Lynn. Yeah, various suit is required. Later on in the game at the end, when you're fighting Mother Brain 2 and you defeat her, she will then attack you with basically an unavoidable attack that does exactly 300 damage. It does 300 damage if you have various suit on. If you do not have Varia at all, it does 600. So to even be able to survive that attack without Varia, you would have to pick up, 3 more E-tanks, and that would be way, way slower than 1, door transition to pick up Varia.
And to be clear, this is specifically a Varia suit thing. You can have gravity suit on and you'll still take 600 if you don't have Varia suit on.
Correct. But we noticed notice here that Ivan and Azulino both picked up the Kraid tank, which is that is a safety tank for the first half of the run for sure. I think that's a really good decision in a race scenario, especially in Ivan's case because he is the favorite here. So in many cases, if you're a big enough favorite in this game, it's worth spending, the 15, 20 seconds or whatever to grab an extra E-tank just because it increases your likelihood of survival by, an incredible amount. And assuming that he's able to finish the run without dying or, getting stuck somewhere, I assume he'll run a really solid time. So I like that call by Ivan and by Azulino both.
All right. Azulino making sure to kill the little zoomer guy there. You got to kill that on the way out. I believe that happened in the last race I commentated where the runner missed it and had to get it on the way out, and it just slows you down a good bit because you have to kill it to open the door.
I've been using the double missile super deboost method there in Bubble Mountain. An excellent strat. Well executed. Nice job.
The hardest part of Old Route, I would say, at least in my perception of it, is definitely lower Norfair. There's a few rooms, especially worst room in the game and like the fast pillars room if you mess it up, where it's very, very easy to just have everything fall apart.
I've been picking up his speed booster here. Notice that he has speed on A. If I recall correctly, I think Ivan uses what I refer to as the Mega Man X control scheme, where Y shoots, B jumps, and A is dash. I actually used to run that control scheme when I first started about 1.5 years ago. And then after I got my sub 50, I swapped to a different control scheme that I've used ever since. But it's really cool to see how all of the different players that are really good at this game can use completely different control schemes and still do all the strats. So it's really neat to see that.
Yeah, back when I was actively running this game, which I eventually will get back around to, I used jump on A, run on B, and shoot on X.
Gotcha. Yeah, it's really cool. When people ask what's the best control scheme, there really is no correct answer. It just depends on what you prefer. And we've got a bunch of different guys that have really, really nice times in this game, all using different control schemes. So that's kind of just proof that it just comes down to your preference.
All right, Ivan grabbing his wave beam, and now he is done for the moment down here in Norfair.
Yeah, he's going to head up now. This is the primary, what you're seeing right now, this is one of the primary time saves between Old Route and New Route, because Old Route is in Norfair right now, but about to leave Norfair. So Ivan's going to backtrack all the way back out to Business Center and then leave and then head up to Wreck Ship. New route cuts all of that out. You only come to Norfair one time. You collect all the items, then you immediately go to Lower Norfair before you leave later out of the whole area. So this time that Ivan is using right now to get up to Wreck Ship is the primary time save in the new route.
Though certain things are affected that make it as not necessarily a big of a time save as it sounds, because you do have stuff like slower Fantoon fight, slightly slower strats with getting across to the wrecked ship and around in it.
Yeah, for sure. To be able to fully take advantage of everything that you can in New Route, you have to have a really, really high level of execution. So a lot of people, aren't able to save the full amount, and that's pretty normal. It's just hard to do everything. But Ivan with the really nice Alpha Spark there, that is a strat you will not normally see in an old route run for people that are only running 2 tanks up to this point. So, a lot of times it's kind of hard to keep your energy up. But Ivan with the beautiful Red Tower strat there, looking very crisp. Going to head over and get his power bombs and head up to Wreck Ship. Azulino's also looking really good. He's just a little bit behind here, heading up and taking the elevator to head to the Red Tower as well.
I think I'm going to try and see how far apart they are on power bombs real quick. So Ivan gets it at 16:35.
Great time, especially with running a 4-tank run here. I like that strat by Ivan, opening up that orange door while also killing one of those caterpillars and getting an extra power bomb. So Azulino also doing a beautiful job over here, grabbing the Alpha Spark.
Out of curiosity, what is it that that is named for?
My assumption would be that in this route, it's the first Shine Spark that you do in the game. So, because you just got Speed Booster and you don't use any Shine Sparks before that room. So I think that's why it's called that. Kind of like the missiles are called Alpha Missiles at the beginning of the game.
Makes sense. All right, looks like a pretty clean hellway from Azulino as well.
Yeah, it looks like he's about a minute behind, roughly, if I recall. Was it 16:35? Was that the powerbomb time?
Yep, 16:35. So actually, pretty much like exactly a minute behind, like 59 seconds a minute.
Absolutely. So he's doing just fine, making his way up to Wreck Ship as well. Ivan now is going to head in and to fight Fantoon, and I assume that we will be seeing some X Factor strats coming up.
Nice little speed ball there. Very smooth.
Yeah, it looks nice.
Yeah. Only 1 minute apart so far is still looking pretty good for Azulino, considering the rather large difference between their current PBs. He's keeping pace pretty well. We'll see how that shakes out on some of the bigger potential points, like, say, Fantoon RNG or some of the bigger strats.
All right.
Looks like we're going for the charge beam motion fly.
Beautiful first round.
We got it?
Yeah, I can't tell. I'm not as familiar with the charge beam one.
Oh.
But Ivan had a beautiful first round, got all 4 of the X Factor particles. Looks like he's now going to use a Doppler method here with a super to try to close out the fight. Nicely done.
Oh, Azulino not quite getting his charge. Second time's the charm, though. And Ivan on his way to go pick up Gravity Suit with a nice quick Fantoon fight.
Yeah, and Ivan will now pick up his second and final Super Missile Pack of the game. This is a staple Super Pack, both in New Route and Old Route, and Low Ice for that matter.
Azulino also getting the Speedball. Very nice. Did he accidentally bonk an extra Super?
I don't know. I didn't notice, but usually people will come in here with I think 2 supers. So I'm not sure exactly what happened to him.
All right, let's see how this X Factor goes. He got a real quick Fantoon, though. And it looks like all 4 hit. That was a very quick pattern. This might help him save some time.
Yeah, hopefully he'll get a mid here. Okay, he did. Unfortunately, was just a little off on preparing for it, but excellent, though.
All right.
Fantoon came back out on a fast pattern there, and Azulino took care of business. Great job.
That was some very good RNG from Fantoon.
Yeah, and excellent execution, too, so great job.
I think that will definitely help catch him up a little bit, because I think Ivan got a little bit worse RNG.
Yeah, I think so, too. I think Ivan had a slow. So, you know, and that's something you can't control. But Ivan now setting up for the beautiful bowling spark. Nice job.
Very smooth. Delivers himself right into the palms of the waiting Chozo statue.
Yeah, actually, if I recall correctly, earlier when I was clicking on the channels to look at, to pull up the chat eventually for what this, you know, to be able to read chat in this channel, I think I saw Ivan playing Heroes of the Storm, which is a game I really like too. So during this time while he's in bowling, he can check to see if he's got a game yet. And he probably has, and he's probably going to have to wait another 20 minutes. So maybe he can finish his run before his next game queues up. All right, grabbing that gravity suit. And as trying to get the spark here in Attic.
Got some kind of bad RNG off of the little sparks.
Yeah,
Ooh.
Those are really annoying.
Missed a couple supers there.
Yeah, it's a little unfortunate, but he should be okay. He's got plenty of supers right now, and he should get more on the way down to Meridia from some cack attacks. So he's not in any kind of major jeopardy. Ivan's power bombs and energy are both in pretty good positions at this juncture of the run. So you'll notice he opted to only farm one of the crabs and then immediately head down. So he saved a little bit of time there.
Doesn't look like Azulino's going for Bowling Spark. Just going to take the ball return route.
Yeah, not a big deal. He's safely into the statue's hand. Perfect Hellway there from Ivan. Getting the double D boost. He's
picking
gonna
up an extra power
frog. Yeah, farming that frog. Good call.
Very nice scree damage boost.
And Ivan is now full on supers, and he has plenty of health heading into Meridia here. All he really wants is to have a little bit to be able to spark up Mount Everest, and then after that, enough health to be able to at least eat one hit from Botwoon. The reason you always want to have enough health to at least eat one hit from Botwoon without getting into the beeping range where you get health bombed is just so if he gives you any, you know, some of the more difficult patterns, you can actually get hit by him and then use your iframes to get inside of his body to finish supering his head. So, you know, traditionally you want to give yourself as much leeway as possible.
Makes sense.
But he's in perfect shape.
Meridia movement is very clean.
Yeah, Meridia is a section that is sort of, in a way, like secretly tough. You know, a lot of the stuff doesn't really look overly dangerous, but it's filled with a lot of complex movements, and it's very easy to lose time in these sections.
The most obvious example being missing a halfie.
Yeah.
Having to go through, I can't remember the name of that room, unfortunately, but I'm having to go through the room before Dragon with without being able to skip most of it with a Shine Spark is pretty brutal. Yeah,
for sure. The Coliseum is one of those rooms that gets pretty ugly when you don't get the spark. So grabbing this E-Tank, gonna kill these last two little goo guys or whatever you call them, slimes, and now he's gonna attempt his full halfie here. We'll see if he can get it.
Azulino, unfortunately missing the scree damage boost there. He kind of just was perfectly spaced to avoid every particle.
Beautiful. Oh, unfortunately, Ivan was literally like maybe 1 pixel or 2 pixels too low there, and so bonked right into that wall. That was, but other than that, I mean, he had a perfect execution on the rest of it. So sometimes that happens, though. This game sometimes is, you know, you can lose a lot of time over the little tiniest of adjustments.
But we are now into the Dragon fight. Azulino making his way towards it as well. Gotta go for Batwoon first. Misses a, looks like one X Factor particle.
Oh, Dragon gave him an unfortunate goo pattern right there. He does have time, though. When Dragon goes off the screen to the right, she actually takes a good bit longer to come back on the screen than she does from the left. So luckily for him, he was able to get a Shine Spark set up for that instance.
Azulino in a bit of a rough spot. Batwoon fight went a little screwy.
Yeah, Batwoon is really tough, man. And Batwoon will eat up a ton of time.
Ivan not sure about that Dragon pattern either.
Yeah, Dragon was definitely not friendly there. Sometimes when Dragon goos in the wrong spot or for too long, it can be very detrimental for an attempt at a Shine Spark. And, you know, honestly, there's really just nothing you can do about it sometimes. Even if you were to shoot the goo, it will still damage you. Like, it will bring you out of your dash or whatever. So there was really nothing he could do about that.
Oh wow, the gravity suit full halfy. Oh no, and the gravity jump. Unfortunately, he did not get it.
Oh, that's interesting.
Perhaps just trying to still get at least a partial time save, but unfortunately, it didn't quite work out. And now, as we were saying, the Coliseum does not treat you very nicely. Ooh. And a fall there. You got to get a very precise wall jump, but pretty clean movement throughout the Coliseum. Azulino gonna get their attempt at the Dragon fight.
And now Ivan picking up the plasma beam, the sort of defining item, so to speak, of old route versus new route. So Plasma is going to do a ton of damage, and it's also going to allow him to clip through several enemies. So he'll utilize that beam in more ways than just damage for the rest of the run. It's really cool. You can get some really cool usage out of it in Lower Norfair in particular.
Looked like Azulino. Oh no! A wind spark. Up until that unfortunately missed upward spark, Azulino's Dragon fight was looking really good, but now it's starting to get a little rough.
Yeah, Dragon is, like, for real, one of those fights where it seems like it's not really that hard, but if it doesn't go exactly like you need it to go, it can get bad in a hurry. Like, I can't tell you how many runs I've lost to Dragon. You know, if she doesn't cooperate, if you're just barely off on some of the strats, you get punished really hard.
Yeah, Azulino really starting to run into some difficulties with this. And kind of starting to look like they might not even have the health to finish him with Shine Sparks.
Yeah, I wouldn't advise it.
Especially with the potential of chain damage.
Oh man, he can't get hit. He can't get hit again.
Like I said, Dragon will either go well or it'll go really badly.
Yeah, luckily he was able to finish Dragon off there. And another cool feature of Old Route that's different from New Route you're going to see right now Az is going to pick up the space jump because old route runners will use that not only throughout Meridia on the way to Plasma, but also throughout Lower Norfair. But in New Route, since you have already literally killed every boss and you're about to head to Torian, picking up space jump is basically would be a time loss. So in this particular run, Az is not going to get punished nearly as bad for missing the blue suit as he would if he were running New Route, because now he can just space jump across the top of this room, and it really won't be, significantly slower.
As long as he doesn't bonk on any of the ceiling tiles.
That's true, yeah. That is true.
Space jump makes it really easy to lose momentum.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Plasma's, by the way, Plasma Beam is another thing that we were talking about earlier. The differences where why old route and new route aren't necessarily as big of a time difference as one might think based on the routing decisions alone. Because Plasma Beam saves significant time on a few different things, like the Ridley fight, I believe Mother Brain too.
Yeah, it does save some time. Unfortunately, the amount of time that it took to go pick it up, though, is significant. So it just kind of comes down to how well the new route runners execute the extra portions of the fight.
I've been getting a nice little chronic boost to get down towards Lower Norfair.
Yeah, nice chronic boost there. And he's looking like he's got really nice health here, especially when you consider that, if he does everything correctly, he won't get hit basically from here to Metal Pirates, or he'll just barely get hit, like, maybe by a D boost or something. But when he gets to the Metal Pirates, they should drop a lot of health and a lot of supers. So I'm assuming,
very clean, fast pillars.
Yeah, I'm assuming he'll be in good shape with his health.
Worst room in the game is much easier with Space Jump. I will say that for sure.
Yeah, he had a nice strat there too. I actually used to run that strat when I did old route, and it is my favorite one. So that was really cool to watch him execute that.
Trying to get, looks like maybe a couple of wall jumps with his space jump there, but both of them he just pulled away from the wall a little too quickly.
Yeah, here he's going to try to kill both of these key hunters. He is going to get a drop from both, but that's not the primary reason to do that strat. You'll notice that there's very little lag in the room on these power bombs. It's because he killed both of those creatures. If they had stayed alive, it would take an extra second, maybe a little over a second in terms of lag. So excellent job there.
And good power bomb management and good ammo that he's gotten throughout the rest of the run means he does not have to worry about picking up power bombs of shame.
No, that power bomb he just dropped was the last one that was required. So he's in good shape. Ooh, the moonwalk there, unfortunately, kind of messing up his movement there. But he's fine. It only took a few extra seconds. So now he's going to set up for his powerhouse attempt.
The moonwalk there is actually, or the moonwalk in general is a bit of a controversial thing. Like, a lot of old school runners have had a hard time adjusting to it because of the way that it can affect your movement if you happen to accidentally hold the button too long.
Yeah, it can definitely cause some mistakes, but Ivan's going to get ready for his Ridley fight, which will only be 20 shots in old route since you have a fully powered beam. 900 damage per charge shot, 18,000 health for Ridley. So on shot number 11, Ridley will turn pink, and you'll know you have 9 left.
Ridney sounds like a pretty different character.
Yeah, Ridney is maybe his daughter or something. I don't know. Excellent job.
Oh, and looks like Azulino is taking the, from what I understand, newer route of going like the left-hand side of Norfair to go down as opposed to going through the right side.
Yeah, there's 2 different ways. Just kind of depends on what strats you want to run. They're actually pretty close in terms of time. One thing we just saw Ivan do, I have full confidence in him because I know he's an excellent runner, but he did not get very many health drops from Ridley. And even though he's way, way ahead, he opted to not, play it safe for the race and get the Ridley tank. So I don't expect him to die on the way out, but let's just put it this way. It's a lot more nerve-wracking now than it would have been with, you know, more health.
Yeah, taking... Speaking of unnecessary hits.
Yeah, I expect him to play the rest of this incredibly conservatively. Probably even slowing down to maybe kill some key hunters if they're in the way instead of trying to clip through them.
Yeah, I think he'll probably kill the 3 Musketeers for sure.
Everything left will do 50 damage, or at least the key hunters will. So I don't anticipate him getting hit, but sometimes they can give you weird patterns. Luckily, he was able to get by.
AzulynoT just coming down into Lower Norfair now, so we're going to see his attempt at fast pillars.
All right, so here's the last real room where Ivan could be in danger. He can't afford 1 hit from the key hunters. I assume he'll probably kill him, though. No.
This is scary.
Okay, he's good.
Worst room in the game, giving a bit of an awkward pattern to AzulynoT, but he was able to make it through. He did get punched in the face by one of the gold pirates, though.
Yeah, and he did a good job there of recovery because sometimes if you kind of are slightly off with your timing and you get hit up in the air like that by that other pirate, it's easy to kind of overreact and then fall. Instead, he just kind of sat there and took the hit and let the iframe start working, and then he was able to jump up. So nice situational awareness for that particular strat.
And AzulynoT taking it pretty safe with the key hunters coming down at least. And like we said, getting rid of the lag.
Yeah. So Ivan's in perfectly fine shape now. He might want to farm a little bit of health just to, you know, get some comfort level. But if you notice, he already has 10 supers. You know, traditionally, most of the time in old route, you're going to make it to Torian with plenty of supers, way more than new route. And so this will kind of allow him to run some aggressive strats and even kind of play it safe if he needs to with his health.
A couple of angry bombs there from AzulynoT as he misses the Akago attempt twice. Ooh, a little bit of a bad pattern there with the gold pirates. I think he got a little too close, which made it kick.
Yeah. Nice recovery, though. This has been mentioned many times before. You'll notice Ivan, it's kind of too late now, but you'll notice that Ivan is jumping a lot with Space Jump in the Meridia water. That's because Space Jump, the properties of Space Jump works differently in liquid as opposed to air. So you can kind of basically spam it. The reset timer on it is significantly less in water.
It's a lot closer to, honestly, like the how Zero Mission and Fusion Space Jump feel. It's a lot more snappy.
Yeah.
AzulynoT getting going with his Ridley fight. AzulynoT's health is looking pretty good right now, so hopefully with some decent drops from Ridley, he won't have to worry about farming. Ivan just about to golden 4. I don't know how I feel about AzulynoT blowing all of his supers on Ridley like that.
Well, sometimes it's kind of tricky to have these discussions because, you know, one thing, like if you keep up a lot with, you know, the discussion on the Discords and stuff, a lot of times people will make kind of sweeping generalizations or comments about things being faster. And like, you know, a lot of times those things technically are faster, but it's also kind of situational, right? So in certain situations, even with Plasma Beam, firing supers at Ridley can be faster. Like in very specific situations in terms of how Ridley's behaving and, you know, stuff like that. But the problem with unloading the supers is that now he has a way less count than Ivan did, for example, on the way out. And so even by the time he gets to G4, he's going to be a little bit more at the mercy of drop RNG.
With AzulynoT's last opponent dropping out before when what would have been his race before the round of 32. I'm kind of wondering if he has last race on his mind right now, because his last race versus Sinan Mache, where he died, was on Ridley. So maybe he was concerned about just wanting to take it safe.
Yeah, maybe so. Ivan with a nice room 1 here. Gonna group at the door here. He's doing some ammo conservation strats, which is a good idea, especially considering that he already has 390 health. Sometimes you can actually get into weird situations with your health if you keep using regular missiles because of the drop table. But yeah, looking at Az over here, needs to be
Speaking of health,
needs to be very careful. He can't take another hit. He also has to be careful. If he doesn't play the Three Musketeers room correctly at the beginning, he can actually die before he even gets to the Three Musketeers. So hopefully he'll be really crisp with his movement right here.
Lower North Air exit for both runners being a real. Yeah, oh man,
that's what I meant right there. This room is a lot more tricky than people realize. Even now, he's not in great shape.
Oh, he's dead.
Yeah. That's really unfortunate.
I knew it. He should have stayed up towards the jumped onto the ledge. Looks like we got Ivan's attempt on his baby skip. The question is Azulino going to bother to restart the run? Because I do not believe he took the lower North Air safety save this time.
No, he did not. And real quick, shout outs to Ivan. Not only did Ivan get the baby skip, but he got the quite difficult but fast space jump baby skip. That is an elite move right there. Well done. I feel bad. I feel like I commentator cursed Az over there by saying that he could die in that room before the Three Musketeers. But, I mean, that's really honestly just an example of, like, there are so many things in this game that are dangerous that can kill you. And, like, if you run this game long enough, you're going to die to, like, 100 different things.
Oh, most certainly. That's speedruns in a nutshell. So, it does appear that Azulino is not planning on restarting it.
But yeah, GG to Az. First of all, to make it to not only the single elimination bracket portion, but also to the round of 32 is an really, really great achievement. So congrats to him on a great tournament. And yeah, GG, man. It is certainly no shame whatsoever to lose to Ivan in a race.
Definitely a very respectable runner, and looking like he's not even going to be more than a couple of minutes off of his PB.
Yeah, Ivan had a sick run. Well played, man. He's in the clear now. He's just going to chill. Looks like he maybe forgot to get hit. I bet he doesn't normally run with four tanks. You normally want to try to get below 400. Because even though Mother Brain will knock you eventually there, it takes a little bit longer. And there are some really weird, rare circumstances where you can actually die from it. But
I believe it's generally when she drops a bomb and then decides to do another attack, right? There's a chance.
Yeah.
And so Mother Brain dies.
Let's pull up the spreadsheet here and talk about who Ivan is going to be facing next in the round of 16. We're trimming it down to only a few players very quickly here. Looks like Ivan will... Oh, wow, this is going to be absolutely fantastic. In Ivan's round of 16 match, he will be facing the current old route world record holder, Jack879.
Unless the sheet hasn't been updated since I last checked it, I believe Jack and Nutella still have to play.
They played this morning. I actually watched the race. So Jack is, yeah, Jack's the winner of that one. They just haven't updated the spreadsheet. So Jack and Ivan, two old route titans duking it out. It's going to be an absolutely fun matchup that I'm sure everybody's going to want to see.
How close was that race, out of curiosity?
The Nutella Jack race?
Yeah.
I think Jack finished with like a 45, and I think Nutella had like a 47. It was about 2 minutes.
Okay, so that's pretty close.
Yeah, it was really competitive. They were basically synced up right around Fantoon and through Wreck Ship. So it was a really fun race.
But all that's left is the escape. Nice 3-minute exit. Able to use the iframes to get through that pirate, very smooth.
Yeah, he's having a real nice exit here. Going to use the last moonfall. And he's going to set up for a spark here. Let's see if he opts to do the behemoth spark or the more traditional wall spark. Going to use the wall spark here. It's going to put him just slightly lower or kind of landing at a different spot, but no issue there. And I would assume that we will not see any kind of animal saving shenanigans.
Nope.
Excellent.
Just going head on over. Based on the choices that Ivan has been making, I feel like he may not have been watching the other runner. I know I've seen him in chat, but I don't know if he's necessarily watching the other runner. It seems like he's been taking a few like strats where he didn't feel like he needed to take it safe or didn't want to take it safe.
Yeah, well, I'm sure also too for a runner of his caliber, I'm sure he felt really confident in everything he was doing. So sometimes the muscle memory just takes over. But GG to Ivan. They did not race, excuse me, in an SRL channel. We had to use a different method, so I don't have any kind of official race time. But I assume it's a 46, 22, 23, or 24, just depending on how the discrepancy is. But a very great run by Ivan. A 46 old route is always a really solid time. And he will be moving on to the round of 16. So GG to him.
GG's, Ivan. So, do you think we'll be able to do an interview?
Well, we can. It just might be a little bit more difficult because they are not in the SRL channel. That's where a lot of times we'll communicate. But we'll stay on the line here for just a second, and if either one of them wants to come in and be interviewed, we'll be glad to do it.
Looks like we do have Ivan in the Discord. I don't know if he is available to do voice.
Excuse me. Thank you, guys. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
So yeah, let's talk a little bit about what's going to happen in this tournament, the upcoming races. Let's see here. Looks like that's the final race for this tournament tonight. Tomorrow at 1:30 p.m. Eastern, we will have a round of 32 match between Casnode and Elminster RTA. Great race. And then at 4 o'clock, we'll have Shiny Zenny versus Krauser 318. That should be a really great matchup. Two new route runners with fast times.
Elminster is another good friend of mine.
Oh, looks like we have Ivan in here. Ivan, are you there?
Hello.
Hello, Ivan. Congratulations on the race. That was a very good, strong run.
Hey, thanks. It was okay.
Yeah, you did a good job, man.
It's a lot of rust. I haven't really played since my last group stage match, so it was kind of, but I don't know. It was okay regardless, I guess.
Well, like I said on stream, even just for like a D-rust time, a 46 is really, really nice for old routes. So you looked like you were in control the whole time. Tell us a little bit about your run. Like for someone like you who has such an excellent old route PB and you've played the game for so long, when you're in a race setting as opposed to like a PB attempt, you kind of play a little different, maybe pick up different items. Tell us a little bit about your decision to pick up the Kraid tank and some of the other things you did to adjust.
Yeah, so I mentioned this after my last group stage match that my item pickups were going to be dependent on who I was facing. So I kind of knew going in that AzulynoT had or I knew what time he had, so I think I kind of figured that picking up the crazy tank wasn't going to cost me the race, if anything.
Sure.
So just for a little safety, I picked that up, and I'm glad I had it because I probably would have died in Lower Norfair.
Yeah, you and Azulino both on the Lower Norfair exit ran into some problems with health. Unfortunately, Azulino messed up his movement in the Three Musketeers room, and it ended up costing him his race.
Oh dang! Yeah, I didn't plan on going through that room like that. I was definitely planning on killing all three, and then muscle memory just took over, and I jumped up and panicked and missed the hitbox on the first one, and went,
yeah,
well,
that kind of shocked both of us.
Yeah, no, I intended on killing all three of them from the start, but
it's funny, we talked about that, about how that'd be the safer play, but then sometimes you just, like, no matter what route you're running, no matter what is going on, you just kind of default back to what you've done a million times.
Yeah, dude, muscle memory takes over. It's hard to break out of.
That's true. But yeah, dude, so next round, I was talking about it just a second ago, you have moved on to the round of 16.
Yeah, I'm gonna get crushed by Jack.
Yeah, your next race is against Jack, and you know, Jack currently has the world record old route. So, and I know you've known him for a long time. So, are you looking forward to that matchup?
Yeah, it'll be fun. I'm gonna have to put in some good practice hours so I can hopefully put on a decent show at least. But I fully expect to lose that. But we'll see what happens.
Well, don't come into it too negative now. This is a tournament race after all.
Oh, I know. Anything can happen. But yeah, coming from this point on in the tournament, I'm pretty much strictly running 3E tank in 2015 or 2010.
Makes sense.
And I'm just going all out because anyone I face from here on out is going to have a better time than me. So
cool. So
I hope you've been enjoying yourself even after coming out from what I guess from what the people are saying, a pretty significant period of rust.
Yeah, no, it's been fun coming back, so hopefully I keep enjoying it, you know?
Yeah, you've gotten back really fast, man. You know, I actually, sometimes I'll just even like lurk in your channel and like watch ever since you started running Super Metroid again. And you dropped your sort of like, I guess, since you've been back PB by a lot really quickly. So it's been cool to watch. But before we let you go, I got to ask, I have to take this opportunity to ask. Earlier today, you were playing some Heroes of the Storm, I think, on the stream. Yeah. And I used to play Heroes like competitively, like right before I started speedrunning Super Metroid. Really? So I love the game. Not competitively, like I'm not a pro, but I played Hero League, you know, and did diamond stuff or whatever. So tell me a little bit about your favorite hero. Like, what do you like about the game?
I don't know. I years and years and years ago, my friends and I got into League of Legends, and then I quickly realized that's not something I wanted to play, just because. Well, not just because, mainly because of how long the games take. And HOTS is more, you know, it's more team fight centric, and the games are a lot shorter on average.
For sure.
And it's just a lot more fun to just goof off with friends instead of trying to take games seriously.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I like a lot of the heroes in it. I think maybe Nazebo.
Okay, awesome. Yeah, he's cool. Well, yeah, thank you, man. And Kenta, if you have any more questions, go right ahead.
Yeah, I was gonna say, it's interesting to hear you talking about Kip. I heard you mentioning him having it since you got back PB, and it's interesting to hear another runner using that because, as I mentioned, I've just got back into Metroid 2 recently, and I'm kind of doing the same thing. So it's glad to know that I'm not the only one who feels like you don't want to compare yourself to your old splits while you're coming back.
Yeah, no. I would never run against my actual PB when I'm coming back. That'd just be real rough.
you just feel real bad about yourself.
Yeah.
But no, I think that about covers it. I'm looking forward to seeing you versus Jack. I know it's gonna be a fun race.
Yeah, I hope so.
Yeah, once again, Ivan, congratulations, man. Not only on the nice time tonight, but making it to the round of 16 of the tournament, which is a really hard thing to do, man. There's a lot of really good runners here, even in the first round of the single elimination. So congrats to you, man, and thank you for being willing to come and talk to us. And have a nice night, man.
Yeah, absolutely. You guys too. Thanks for the commentary.
Glad to have you.
Yeah, absolutely. So, guys, at this point, I think we're going to wrap it up here for the race. Thank you guys for watching. Hope you enjoyed. Don't forget that tomorrow we'll have a few really solid races that'll be a lot of fun to watch as well. Even in the my name is Kip. So Kenta, I'll let you have the last word. Thank you for being willing to come and talk to us. And have a nice night, man.
All right, and I have been Kenta. Been really enjoying starting to get to know you guys in the Super Metroid scene once again. I've been out of it for quite some time. But after the Metroid marathon, I got invited to do commentary in here because I commentated a fair amount of speed runs in that marathon, and people seem to like it. So I'm really happy. You guys have been really kind. I really appreciate you guys giving me this opportunity, and you guys should hopefully see me again for some more races coming up later in the bracket. I hope you all have a great night.